Cosmic lottery. Physicist Max Tegmark has identified 32 dimensionless ratios that are basic properties of reality in his thought-provoking book, Our Mathematical Universe, My Quest for the Ultimate Nature of Reality. These are 32 pure numbers from which every other fundamental constant of nature can be theoretically derived. In this illustration, I depicted these parameters and added the missing on-off switch, bringing the grand total of controls needed to mathematically define a universe up to the magic 33. These knobs must be so incredibly finely tuned to create a universe, let alone a universe capable of supporting life, that we have truly won the cosmic lottery. Tegmark explains, quote, "How far could you rotate the dark energy knob before the oops moment? The current setting of the knob, corresponding to the dark energy density we've actually measured, is about 10 to the negative 27th power kilograms per cubic meter, which is almost ridiculously close to zero compared to the available range. The natural maximum value for the dial is a dark energy density of about 10 to the 97th power kilograms per cubic meter, which is when the quantum fluctuations fill space with tiny black holes, and the minimum value is the same with a minus sign in front. If rotating the dark energy knob by a full turn would vary the density across the full range, then the actual knob setting for our universe is about 10 to the minus 123 power of a turn away from the halfway point. That means that if you want to tune the knob to allow galaxies to form, you have to get the angle by which you rotate it right to 123 decimal places." End quote. That's interesting also, because of the parallel with the game of chess. Louis Victor Alice, a Dutch computer scientist working in the artificial intelligence field, has calculated that there are at least 10 the 123rd power games of chess that can possibly be played. That means that the probability that our universe contains galaxies is akin to one game of chess in approximately 1 followed by 123 zeros. That's the number of games. Unlikely doesn't even begin to describe these odds. There are only 10 to the 81st power atoms in the observable universe, after all. This is far more than the number of atoms in the universe. Tegmark continues, quote, "If the electromagnetic force were weakened by a mere 4%, then the sun would immediately explode as its hydrogen fused into so-called diprotons, an otherwise non-existent kind of neutron-free helium. If it were significantly strengthened, previously stable atoms such as carbon and oxygen would radioactively decay away. If the so-called weak nuclear force were substantially weaker, there would be no hydrogen around, since it would all have been converted into helium shortly after the Big Bang. If it were either much stronger or much weaker, neutrinos from a supernova explosion would fail to blow away the outer parts of the star, and it's doubtful whether life-supporting heavier elements such as iron would ever be able to leave the stars where they were produced and end up in planets such as Earth. If electrons were much lighter, there could be no stable stars, and if they were much heavier, there could be no ordered structures such as crystals and DNA molecules. If protons were just 0.2% heavier, they'd decay into neutrons, unable to hold on to electrons, so there would be no atoms. If they were instead much lighter, the neutrons inside of atoms would decay into protons, and so there would be no stable atoms except for hydrogen. Indeed, the proton mass depends on another knob. It has a very wide range of variation and needs to be fine-tuned to 33 decimal places to get any stable atoms other than hydrogen. Many of these fine-tuning examples were discovered in the 70s and 80s by Paul Davies, Brandon Carter, Bernard Carr, Martin Rees, John Barrow, Frank Tipler, Steven Weinberg, and other physicists. And more examples just kept turning up." End quote. The moon and the sun constitute further proof that we passengers on spaceship Earth are winners. There is nothing in physics that says that the moon and the sun must appear the same size in our skies. The fact that our moon is the only satellite in our system that even comes close to doing this. It is truly amazing that the moon and the sun disks match up. And they won't forever, as the moon is slowly moving away from the Earth. We won the cosmic lottery yet again. A look at any total solar eclipse is proof of the astronomically unlikely situation that the sun is 400 times larger than the moon and 400 times further away from the Earth than the moon. I discovered another such symmetry in the orbital dynamics of Moon and Earth. During one orbit around the Sun, the Earth actually rotates about its own axis 366.3 times. The Moon orbits the Earth in 27.3 days. Of course, a day is one Earth rotation on its own axis. When you multiply these numbers together, 366.3 times 27.3, you get 9999.99. At the same time, the Earth is 366.3% the diameter of the Moon, and the Moon is 27.3% the diameter of Earth. These are the same numbers. To better understand why the Earth rotates more times than there are days in the year, watch this embedded video for a clear explanation. How can it be that the Earth and Moon are in a reciprocal mathematical relationship in terms of number of rotations and in the pure ratios of diameters? Nothing in physics says this need be so. It is far too perfect, and we won the cosmic lottery yet again. The following equation reveals something about the unexpected perfection of the Earth-Moon system, which is the year times the month divided by pi times phi is approximately equal to 5555.5, and that's 99.996% accurate. The combined diameters of all of the planets in our solar system is 10 times greater than the Earth's circumference. This has astonishingly high accuracy at 99.99%. As we don't know the combined diameters of all the planets with more than that accuracy, this relationship might be, in fact, exact. It is a powerful argument for the primacy of base 10. Quote, "It is the mark of an instructed mind to rest satisfied with the degree of precision which the nature of the subject admits, and not to seek exactness when only an approximation of the truth is possible." End quote. Aristotle. We won the cosmic lottery yet again, against astronomical odds. What are we not understanding? God, aliens, conspiracy, randomness, and/or triviality are unsatisfying explanations to me. These major secrets, placed so obviously in plain sight, make me feel like humanity is destined to understand the deeper implications. Many more such symmetries and wonderment are in my book, The Divine Proportion.